Have you noticed that every time you sit down at a restaurant lately, the experience feels less like a treat and more like a financial interrogation? It starts the moment you open the menu and see prices that seem to have climbed a mountain while you were sleeping. We are living in the year 2026, and the simple act of eating out has transformed into something unrecognizable. There was a time when going out for dinner meant relaxation, good service, and a fair exchange of value. But today, that feeling of comfort has been replaced by a lingering sense of resentment the moment the bill hits the table. You are not imagining things, and you are certainly not alone in your frustration. Across the country, millions of people are reaching the same conclusion. Dining out has become a sophisticated financial trap. Think back to just a few years ago when a $20 meal was actually $20. Now, by the time you add up the base price, the new surcharges, and the aggressive tipping expectations, you are looking at double that amount. We need to talk about the bare truth behind why this is happening and why it is time to protect your hard-earned savings. The first thing we have to address is the rise of the so-called mystery fees that have infested our receipts. You might see a 3% charge for kitchen appreciation or a 5% wellness fee for staff benefits. In some cities, there is even a facility surcharge just for the privilege of sitting in a chair that you are already paying for through the food prices. These are what the experts call junk fees, and they are designed to keep the menu prices looking lower than they actually are. It feels like a betrayal because it is a betrayal of the transparent relationship between a business and a customer. The Federal Trade Commission has tried to step in with new rules this year, but many establishments are still finding ways to hide the true cost until the very end. By the time you notice the disclaimer at the bottom of the menu, you have already ordered your drink and settled in. But the trap goes even deeper than just the numbers on the page. In 2026, we are witnessing the rise of the digital toll inside the dining room. Have you noticed how many restaurants now refuse to give you a physical menu? They point to a cold QR code on the table and expect you to do the work of a waiter on your own device. This is not about convenience or saving trees. It is about data harvesting. The moment you scan that code, you are giving up your location, your browsing habits, and your contact information. They are building a profile of you to sell back to advertisers, all while you are just trying to order a simple sandwich. You are being turned into a product while you pay premium prices for a meal. This brings us to the second layer of this trap, the decline in quality, often called shrinkflation. Have you noticed your favorite burger seems a little smaller, or that the side of fries looks like a snack portion instead of a meal? Restaurants are paying more for ingredients, so they are cutting corners wherever they can. They are using cheaper oils, smaller cuts of meat, and less fresh produce, all while charging you a premium price. You are paying more for less, and the taste rarely justifies the cost anymore. Beyond the portion sizes, we must talk about the health defense that is being compromised. Commercial kitchens are increasingly relying on industrial seed oils and processed additives to maintain their profit margins. When you eat out, you are often consuming hidden ingredients that contribute to inflammation and long-term health issues. They use soybean oil, canola oil, and corn syrup because they are cheap, not because they are good for you. By the time you finish your meal, you have paid a high price in dollars, but an even higher price in your future vitality. Then, there is the service paradox. Despite the higher prices and the extra fees, the service in many places has reached an all-time low. Staff members often seem overwhelmed, checked out, or simply indifferent to your experience. You find yourself waiting 20 minutes for a glass of water or waving your hand just to get the check so you can finally leave. When the service is poor, the entire justification for eating out disappears. Why pay a premium to feel like you are bothering the staff just by being there? It seems that the human touch that used to justify a high bill has been replaced by cold automation and scripted interactions. And then comes the moment of truth, the iPad flip. We have all felt that awkward pressure when the cashier turns the screen around and the tip suggestions start at 25%. It does not matter if you just stood in line and carried your own tray to a dirty table. The prompt is there, staring at you, making you feel like a villain if you do not click the highest box. This tipping fatigue is real, And it is exhausting for those of us who grew up understanding that a tip was a reward for exceptional service, not a mandatory tax on every transaction. Now, we are even seeing prompts for tips on automated kiosks where no human was involved at all. Where does that money actually go? Is it supporting a hardworking server? Or is it just another way for the corporation to subsidize its labor costs? Let's look at the cold, hard math of a typical breakfast in 2026. A basic sampler at a place like IHOP, eggs, bacon, and a cup of coffee, can now easily cost you $23 before tax and tip. For a retired couple, that is nearly $60 for a meal that takes 15 minutes to eat. Now, that same amount can buy you 4 dozen eggs, a large pack of high-quality bacon, a loaf of artisan bread, and enough coffee beans to last you 2 weeks. When you see it laid out like that, the value of the restaurant meal completely evaporates. For a single breakfast out, you could have fed yourself at home for an entire week, and the quality would likely be much higher. According to the latest data, the average person is spending over $200 a month just on these disappointing dining experiences. For married couples, that number jumps to $500 or more. If you are between the ages of 50 and 70, that money is not just spending money. That is your freedom. That is your security. $500 a month invested in a simple index fund over 10 years can grow into nearly $80,000. That is the difference between a stressed retirement and a comfortable one. Every dollar you hand over to a mediocre restaurant chain is a brick removed from your own financial fortress. The industry wants you to believe that cooking at home is a chore, a burden, or something only boring people do. They sell you the myth of the experience, but the experience is often just loud music, crowded tables, and a rushed exit. But the real secret is that home cooking has become the ultimate act of rebellion and self-care. By reclaiming your kitchen, you are taking back control of your health and your financial destiny. You know exactly what ingredients are going into your body. You are not consuming hidden sugars, excessive sodium, or low-quality seed oils that restaurants use to save a nickel. More importantly, you are creating a space for genuine connection with your family and friends. A dinner party at home where everyone contributes a dish and the conversation flows without a loudspeaker overhead is worth more than any 5-star restaurant. You don't have to worry about a convenience fee for talking too long or a corkage fee for bringing your favorite bottle of wine. In 2026, the third space of our society is being commercialized to death. The neighborhood cafe and the local diner were once places where you could sit for hours and just be a human. Now, they are designed to turn over tables as quickly as possible. The lighting is too bright, the chairs are intentionally uncomfortable, and the staff is trained to move you along. By staying home, you are creating your own sanctuary where time actually belongs to you again. If you are worried about the loss of convenience, think about the new hobbies you can fund with the thousands of dollars you save each year. Buy that high-end espresso machine you have always wanted. Invest in a professional-grade convection oven or a set of forged steel knives. These tools will pay for themselves in a matter of months and make the process of preparing food a joy rather than a task. The goal is not to live a life of deprivation. The goal is to live a life of intention. There is a rule that many successful people are adopting this year: the 80-20 rule for dining. 80% of your meals should be prepared in the sanctuary of your home. The other 20% can be reserved for truly special occasions or foods that are nearly impossible to replicate. If you love authentic wood-fired pizza or complex dim sum that requires hours of labor, go ahead and enjoy it. But save those experiences for when they actually mean something. Stop settling for mediocre and expensive just because it is a habit. Every time you choose to stay in, you are voting with your wallet against a system that has forgotten how to value its customers. You are protecting your retirement fund and ensuring that your future self has the resources to live with dignity. In this era of 2026, where everything feels like it is designed to drain your bank account, being a savvy consumer is your best defense. The restaurants might be disappointed that you are staying home, but your bank account will be celebrating. You deserve to eat well, but you also deserve to keep the money you worked decades to earn. It is time to stop being a customer and start being a steward of your own life. Think about the legacy you are building with your daily choices. Do you want to leave behind a trail of overpriced receipts or a legacy of financial stability and genuine memories? The next time you feel the urge to head out to a chain restaurant because you are tired, remember the $23 breakfast. Remember the mystery fees and the cold food. Then take a deep breath, open your own fridge, and realize that you already have everything you need to be happy. You have the power to change your financial trajectory starting tonight. Do not let the dining out trap steal your peace of mind or your future security. The best meal you will ever have is the one where you are in control of the table. Thank you for listening to this truth today. If you found value in this perspective, please share it with a friend who might be tired of the restaurant scam. Together, we can build a community that values substance over status. Take care of your health, take care of your wallet, and most importantly, take care of each other. I will see you in the next analysis.